How's it going, guys? It's Burgers here and welcome to another Rise of Kingdom video. Today we're going to talk about two heroes. One is Boudica, the second one is Lohar. And I used to think that the Boudica against Lohar had an obvious answer. Lohar give more commander experience, everyone recommending him for barbarians, and for a long time I just accept that as correct way to think about it. But after spending more time fighting barbarians on my own account, I realized I wasn't actually asking the right question. And here is the thing, most players compare these two commanders by looking at one number, the experience bonus. And on paper, Lohar wins that comparison immediately. The problem is that your account doesn't grow because one commander has the biggest percentage. It grows because of everything that happened during hundreds of action points spent over weeks and months. That's what made me want to look at this again. Not because I suddenly think Lohar is bad, but because I start wondering if we've been measuring the wrong things all along. But at the end of these discussions, I don't want you to simply choose between Boudica and Lohar. I want you to think differently every time you compare two commanders in Rise of Kingdom. That's actually one of my favorite parts of the strategy games. Sometimes everyone agrees on something for years. Then one small observation completely change how you look at it. I enjoy having those conversations because they force me to question my own decisions and as much as everyone else. So if you like exploring Rise of Kingdom from that perspective, consider subscribing, and if today's discussions give you a different way of thinking about commanders, I do really appreciate if you leave one like. The first thing that changed my mind was realizing that Lohar's biggest advantage isn't actually the thing that determines how much your account grows. For a long time, I saw like that 70% commander experience bonus, and I thought the discussion was over. More experience has to mean better progression. But then I started paying attention to something I had almost ignored. How many barbarians I was actually defeating with the same amount of action points. And for a long time, I was thinking actually Lohar is the main hero for the barbarians. Even when you go outside and you try to, defeat some barbarians, and if I make one legion here, I'm going to just use Lohar with Minamoto. And yeah, for the long time, I go outside doing the barbarians with Lohar. What is the important about the Lohar is this bad boy is also having decent healing. Look at this thing. The commander also get 450 healing factor. Extra healing factor, extra healing factor. I mean, this is actually the boost of this healing factor. So in majority, Lohar main weapon is actually giving you a lot of healing. And right now, just by going and defeating this level 16 barbarian, obviously I have a very solid army, so it's going to be very fast defeating this one. But with the levels going up, I start thinking actually maybe the Boudica is going to be the correct answer, and I'm going to explain why. Now, right now we're watching how the Lohar is hitting this barbarian, and he's going to manage to trigger his spell. Look at the damage, 460. This is not that much. Now, let's check out the Boudica. What the Boudica is actually giving you. Now, first thing, it's only giving you 20% experience from defeating barbarians. So you have 70, you have 70% from Lohar, you have 20 only from Boudica. But the thing with the Boudica is she's doing crazy amount of damage. Here is like direct damage factor 600 can go up to 1000. Damage factor 1000 is reducing the rage, so if your hero are more faster from triggering his spell, it's going to even more slow down the barbarians, so you may even avoid a lot of hits from the barbarians. Also reducing the attack, and yeah, it's basically killing barbarians way more faster. Also is giving this extra rage, some healing factor, and all these chances. It's actually like 10% chance to get extra bonus. Now, this is something that I really like about the Boudica, is just because she's going to kill barbarians way more faster. So if you're limited from point of time and you really want to you really want to finish with the barbarians, Boudica is maybe going to be the way. Right now we're going to attack this one and you're going to see the difference. Even though Lohar is way more higher level, so he's having more troops as a troop capacity, Boudica is still going to do some nice damage, even like 5,000 something. Obviously my hero is not expertized, and that's why it's doing less damage. The next thing I noticed was that Boudica isn't really built around earning more rewards from one barbarian. She's built around reaching the next barbarian sooner. That's a completely different psychology. When you actually read her skill, almost everything helps her keep fighting. She reduces the barbarian rage, lower its attack, deals respectable damage herself, and even heal after using her active skills. None of those things directly say more progression, but together they quietly reduce the amount of time and healing every single fight requires. Now, the first thing is obviously her main spell that is doing like 600 damage factor. I already mentioned that. It's also reducing the rage and it's increasing the attack, but that's not all. Again, after she finished when the commander troops use active skill, she's also going to regenerate some rage, which is going to make her fire up way more faster. 50 rage is like 5%, because 50 rage from 1000 is 5%. From there, we also jump in here, getting more damage. But the thing here, interesting, is either you can go with peacekeeping, but in the same time, you can actually go and even boost the damage this hero is doing, also increase the rage regeneration, all these things that is going to boost the performance of the Boudica, and she's going to kill way more faster the barbarians. And believe it or not, I'm like playing for I don't know how much, like 2 months, maybe not 2 months, but so far from what I saw, is the barbarians is very slow. Killing barbarians is very slow. And even if you go and select some legion and you're going to start, look at this thing. I get lucky because the barbarian just end up here, but even ending up here is still very slow till I actually kill these barbarians. And from there, the next barbarian can be at some completely different place, like I don't know where is going to be the next one. Come on, where is going to see how much time consuming, how much time is counting till the next barbarian come. Yeah, it can be here, but it can be also here. It can be here, or it can be somewhere here. It's just so slow. And if I have a chance somehow to make this thing work way more faster for me, I think Boudica is way more valuable. Lohar is going to give you a lot of healing to some kind of sustain, your healing, and it's going to give you some experience. But at the end of the day, if you just want to do like 200 barbarians, okay, I'm not quite sure we can do 200, but if you want to do decent amount of barbarians in short amount of time, just Boudica is the answer. Her spell are very, very nice one. The funny thing is, after all of this, I don't actually think experienced players were wrong when they recommended Lohar. I think they were answering at a different question. If your only goal is leveling a brand new commander as quick as possible, Lohar is still incredible. That 70% commander experience bonus exists for a reason, and there is a situation where nothing else competes with it. And this is something that I'm currently doing with Minamoto Yushin. I'm using this bad boy with Lohar so I can level up my Minamoto. So far, I have a lot of levels actually, blocked here. That at one point I'm going to just, start up this hero and I'm going to unblock those levels. But at the end of the day, if you get brand new hero, you definitely you want to use Lohar, because look at this thing. Chow Chow is going to give you Is he still fighting? Oh my god, where is this bad boy? Come on, stop fighting. You're fighting way too much. So Chow Chow from one fight is going to give you like 2.1k experience. Chow Chow is having 0% extra experience. The other one is Boudica, that is going to give you 2.3 extra 200 experience, because Boudica is having like 20% more experience. And from here, we're jumping to Lohar, that is giving like 2.5. And the Lohar skill is not fully developed. The Lohar skill is like right now 30%, so Boudica is 20%, right now is 30. Till it hits to 70%, it's going to be like 2 times more and something, 2 times and something. So if Chow Chow for one fight is giving you 2.1, Walker is giving you extra 400 experience, and it's 30%, 400 experience, 30%, 70% most likely is going to be 500. So you're getting close to like 1k experience more, and for sure it's going to be 1k experience more, because it's 70% from 200 and 2.1k, which is 1.4k if my calculation have to be precise. You're going to, get from a walker. This is absolutely wild, fast, leveling up. And one of the reasons you can actually do that is boosting your power. If you level up your heroes till level 10, you're going to get some power. And from there, if you go and put some talents on this hero, you're going to get even more power. So you see how the synergy with Walker and boosting your power, even though that this is actually inflating your power, but still, if you want to join the top alliance, you have to get power from somewhere. And Walker can help you buy a lot in this direction. So I don't say the top, the veteran players recommending Walker is something wrong. I still believe this bad boy is having his advantages. And to be fair, when I see Walker, the only thing I see is this 70% experience bonus that a commander can actually receive when he's with him. The biggest lesson I took away from this comparison wasn't that Boudica is stronger than Lohar, it was that commander value change as your account change. Early on, I cared almost exclusively about leveling commanders. Every extra a bit of experience felt incredibly valuable, simply because I didn't have many strong commanders to work with. But after a while, my priorities quietly shift without me even noticing. And yes, this is something that happened when I started playing the game. I was needing some levels for Minamoto, I was needing some levels for Chow Chow, also for Sun Tzu. I was needing some levels also for my gathering heroes to open all the skills, so I can get all the gathering spells. Gathering extremely important at the beginning of the game also. So there was just so many heroes that I should level up, so I'll be um, getting even the talents, if you want. The talents is also something very important in each hero. So Walker was doing crazy good work for me, to be fair, but right now I don't need anywhere leveling. I mean, I have Minamoto at level 50. Most likely, when I level up the stars, is going to go to some extra levels. From there, I actually have a lot of these books that is going to help me also leveling up this hero. But even if I don't manage to fully leveling up this hero, I'm going to use Walker to help with this. I'm waiting for Yasuji, the hero that everybody recommend before the KVK 1. And I'm going to definitely need to level up this bad boy also. I think he was giving something like 50% skill damage, which is crazy. Not gonna lie. So yeah, so far from my account percent, I don't need any level anywhere. But at the beginning, I was needing so much levels for all of my heroes, and I was doing even this thing here, Path of Vengeance, so I can get some extra of those books. I basically use everything I was possible can I was doing everything I can to get more experience, but at the end of the day, you're hitting one point where you have enough leveled up heroes. If some hero arrive in the game and you want to play with this hero, you already have tons of books that can level up this hero. It's just like this. So the Walker clearly have a great value at the beginning, playing this game, especially how easy it's actually to awake this hero. You just have to do the Walkers, and from the lance chest you may get some Walkers sculptures. I may find some Walker sculptures, I may not. We didn't actually have Walker event soon, so I may not have any kind of Walker sculptures. But yeah, you get the idea. It's just so easy to get those Walker sculptures at the end of the day. One thing I really enjoy about investigations like this is that they often start with a simple comparison and then end up changing the way I think about the entire game. I want to thank to all the channel members because your support give me time to actually test those ideas, increase instead of just repeating what everybody say. If you would like to support the channel and help me continue making videos like this, you can check out the membership below the video.